are you all today? Today I'm still not 100%. I've woke up this morning, checked my tonsils, and I've got tonsillitis. So my throat is absolutely killing me. I've spoken to the doctors regarding obviously me having tonsillitis, but also about Daisy's head and her neck here, because she's red raw here. She's been such a dribbly baby, but we've been putting cream on it, but it's not seemed to be doing anything. So when we went to the pharmacy yesterday to order some medication for some inhalers for me and some cream for Charlie, I spoke to the pharmacist and I was like, is there anything you can do to help Daisy? And so they said I needed to speak to the doctors, so I made sure I phoned them this morning, and they've prescribed us some antifungal cream for her neck, and they've also prescribed us some of her own cream for her forehead. So just need to keep that on top. So Danny's actually just in the pharmacy collecting it now. I've sent pictures to the doctors. They said it's tonsillitis due to a virus, so they can't give me antibiotics to get rid of it because it won't do anything. So instead they said for me to take paracetamol and ibuprofen. And so I said to the doctors, I was like, listen, not being funny or anything, but I've been told by doctors I cannot take paracetamol and ibuprofen due to my inflamed liver and my gallbladder. So they've prescribed me some throat spray or something, which Danny's picking up for me now. This morning when I was on the phone with the doctors, my voice sounded funny because it was that sore. Like, even having a drink, having something to eat, it just hurts. Sometimes even speaking, it hurts. But I've checked Danny's tonsils and he's got it too. I've checked Charlie's. There's no sign of tonsillitis on Charlie. You know, there's still plenty of time for him to catch it. I don't know whether you can pass it on to other people, so I don't know whether Charlie's going to get it. It's not nice if he does get it, that's for sure. So I've not really recorded much at all today because I've not been well, to be quite honest. We literally just chilled watching the telly. We popped to Aldi, and then we went to Morrison's, and then I tried to get some milk powder for Daisy because I was running low. Turns out they don't have the powder there. Well, they did, but they'd run out. It was out of stock. So I couldn't get it. So I just got a couple of bits. I got some new dummies for Daisy. I got her some banana baby rice when I'm starting to wean her properly. And I got her some baby rusks as well. Obviously she's a bit too young for them yet, but you know, I might give her a little taste here and there, but you know, I think she's still too small at the minute. Yeah, I know we've given her a taste of watermelon, but it wasn't my idea in all fairness. After we popped to Morrison's, we went over to Nanny and Tidy's house. Danny was trying to do a bit of work on the laptop with him. They're trying to make up a business card for Danny's business because he's gone fully self-employed now. We spoke to his old boss regarding picking up his bits and bobs from there, and so we went down there about 6:30. But in the meantime, after going to Nanny and Tidy's, we came back up, went to the pharmacies to pick up the prescriptions, as you've seen before. I was waiting ages. Daisy was getting fussy, and then I kept looking back into the pharmacy window where Danny was, and then at one point he was completely gone. I was like, where the heck's he gone? So I turned the car around, drove up to the window to see where he was, in case he'd moved around the shop. He was not there. So I've turned to go to have a look elsewhere. Danny told me later on that as I was turning into the car park, he was walking towards me, waving at me, but I didn't see him because I was stressing out about not knowing where Danny was, and Daisy was screaming and Charlie was playing up. So I ended up driving around trying to look for Danny for about 2 or 3 minutes, gave up, went to the other pharmacy, he wasn't there. So then I've drove back round, gone past the pharmacy again to make sure he wasn't there, and then I was like, you know what, I need to go home. So I've come home, made Daisy a bottle, and then gone back out. Daisy was alright at this point, so I've gone back out looking for Danny, and the first place I go to, he's actually walking towards the house, and I was like, where the heck have you been? Going through my head, like, I thought the worst. All of a sudden I thought, oh my god, he's lost his head, I don't know where he's gone, he's disappeared, blah 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 blah. Wasn't the case at all. He said he seen me turning around and he was like, where's she going? But his phone was dead, so he couldn't even ring me. But it was all a bit of miscommunication. He told me that the pharmacy that he was in, which the medication should have been in there for Daisy, wasn't there. So after him speaking to the pharmacist and then speaking to the doctors and vice versa, turns out it'd gone to the other pharmacy. But because Danny knew where I was parked, he thought, oh, I'm only literally going down the road 2 seconds. She won't even notice. But because Daisy was stressing out, when I was sorting Daisy out and I've turned back round to look for where Danny is, he's not there. So I've all of a sudden assumed he's disappeared. Wasn't the case at all. It was a big miscommunication. He said he should have come up to the car and told me he was going to the other pharmacy rather than me stressing. But anyway, I found him. It's not an issue. He was fine. I was fine. Daisy was fine. Charlie was fine. After picking Danny up, we came back here. Danny grabbed his charger, but by this time it was 5:30. Danny was meant to be going to his boss's for around 6 o'clock. So we popped to the chippy on the way back down to Tidy's house because he had that much things to get from his bosses. It wouldn't all fit in my car. So Tidy has a 7-seater car, so everything went in his car and I had the kids. But Danny's sister Naomi was there with her daughter Jasmine, and so I brought Jasmine and Naomi home. Charlie was still awake in the car, so I drove down to his boss's house to try and get him to fall asleep. Anyway, Charlie was kicking off there as well, so I've come back home, he's fallen asleep in the car. I've taken both kids, I took Charlie upstairs to bed. Daisy was in her car seat for a little bit. I helped Tidy and Danny bring in the bits and bobs from in the car. And then as we just finished putting it all away, Daisy woke up in the car seat, so I gave her a bottle and stuck her in bed. It took me about 10-15 minutes to get her to go back down. It's currently 10 to 9. Both kids are in bed asleep. I'm absolutely knackered. We're going to Lucy's again tomorrow. And so we've spoken to Niney and Tidy and we're all going to go down, but we're all going to go down in Niney and Tidy's car instead of taking 2 because they've got a 7-seater. It just saves doing two cars for the same trip. But so tomorrow's going to be a fairly busy day travelling again. So Charlie's in school 9 till 11. So we've decided the plan's going to be, I'm going to take Charlie to school in the morning, come back here. Tidy's going to drop off Jasmine and Junior in school and come here. If he's got Niney, great. If he hasn't, I'm going to go down to get Niney from her house whilst Tidy and Danny are cooking a breakfast here. We're going to have the breakfast, then all jump in Tidy's car, go and get Charlie from school for 11, and then go down to Lucy's house. That's the plan. So I'm gonna go anyway. Remember to like this video if you did, subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye guys.